back to another episode of Nikicia Speaks. I'm Nikki, of course, and today we're going to be talking about how to find your passion and, and where to start. So, just a little quick little blurb on how I found my passion. Passion is very important. It is the fuel that gets you through life, especially if it's your purpose. My passion, I would have to say, is helping people. It is something that comes naturally to me, and it's something that I find very easy, and that is usually what a passion is. A passion is something that, one, it comes easily to you. It is something that people thank you for. So that's one of the things in trying to learn how to find what your passion is what does someone thank you for? If it comes easily to you, if you are like, doesn't everybody do that? Can't everybody do something like that? And actually, it's actually not true. Not everybody can do what comes easily to you. So what I can do and what I'm really good at is helping people and seeing the good in others, even if they may seem like the worst person in the world. I can always see that silver lining in every single person, and it's a gift and a curse, because I always see the good in people. People usually try to take advantage of the fact that I give people chances to change, and people take advantage of that. So they take my kindness for a weakness, and it's not a weakness at all. My main goal is to try to help people, to try to help as many people and help people see their potential and how great and wonderful they are or they can become. So that is something that I feel is my passion, because it is something that comes extremely easy to me. And it is something that I do for my friends and my close family members. I'm like everyone's little cheerleader. I'm always there, to talk to somebody if they need help or advice, and I'm always that person that people come to. And in the beginning, I always thought but that's just being friendly, that's just being kind, and it's really not. It is something that not a lot of people can do or know how to do, and then it's something that is unique to me. There are other people who can do what I can do, but they can do it in their own special way. So if you have a gift and a talent to want to help people, and that is something that is deeply rooted in your core, to want to help people and change their lives, don't think that it's just, that's something everybody can do. No, not everybody is capable of giving people good advice. Not everybody is capable of being as kind and as selfless as you are, as you may be. So don't think that it's something everybody else can do. One of the important things, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them, because I have a sad memory. If you don't know what your passion is, or you don't really know where to start looking for where your passion is, you have to spend some time clarifying on what you're naturally good at. Like, what are you really, really good at? And it's like that. Some people, it's art. Some people, it's drawing, it's painting. Some people are really good at telling stories and writing. Some people are just really, really good at, and they're naturally good at, robotics and dealing with electronics. Even if it's something simple as, understanding programs, something that comes to you naturally, where you don't even have to think about it. You can just do it, and you just know how to do it. And the best thing to do is, if you can't think of something that you're really naturally good at, ask 10 people who know you really well. Like, they know you really well, and ask them what you're naturally good at. Ask them. That could be your parents, that could be your best friends, your cousins, anybody who knows you extremely well. Ask them what you're good at. People usually tend to see things in us that we don't see ourselves, or we won't see in ourselves. And when they're talking about, I suggest you write down what each person says, so that way you can look for patterns. If these people know you really well, And this is something that I have done. I've asked my parents, I've even had people who don't know me extremely well, but know me to a certain extent, who have told me that it is my gift to help people, that I have a certain mindset and wisdom that most 20-year-olds don't have, that I could utilize to help and change the lives of other people. And to hear that from, people, they're not complete strangers. I've known them for like maybe a couple of months, but to hear that from someone who hasn't been in my life the entire time, it was shocking. And that's when I kind of knew, yeah, this is probably something that I'm meant to do with my life, because it is so easy for me to do, and because it gives me a fulfillment. Next is to test things out. So once you get a clear list of the things that you think you're naturally good at, and the things that other people tell you you're naturally good at, I say compare the two lists and test it out. Test out the things that you think you're meant to do. Some people, my mentor, he told me that, before he found out that his purpose in life was to coach, he tried out a whole bunch of different things. He even worked for a really good company, and found out that that's not something he wanted to do. He even dabbled in photography and almost went to med school before he found that coaching was his thing. So it's always best to test out different things and different avenues. If you're really good at art, I say take a couple of art classes. Is it something you're really passionate about? If you love, and if you are in the art field, I say take all types of art classes. You don't necessarily have to go to art colleges. They have art classes that don't cost that much in your town. If you go in Groupon, they usually have a lot of those. You can do painting, watercolors, acrylics. You can even do sculpting. You can do sketching. You might find out that you love to draw, but you're not a really good sculptor or a painter. You could just be really good at drawing, and that could turn into being a comic book artist. That could turn into being a cartoonist. That could turn into being even a manga writer. So you never know unless you try some things out. The same thing goes with if you want to be a writer. At one point, I wanted to be a writer, and I still want to be a writer. I think that I'm a very good writer, and I can articulate myself very well on paper. But I don't really have the patience for writing. The only time I can really write and write a really good story is when I feel inspired. And in that moment, I can write 15, 16 pages of something really good, and I need not be bothered. Nobody talk to me, nobody call me, nothing. Do not bother me, because I will lose what I was writing about, that story that I had in my head. And I realized that I don't have many moments where I'm truly inspired, where I need to write about something. And I used to love writing a whole bunch when I was in high school. And I used to write stories, and I used to read books all the time about mythology and fantasy. And fiction is my favorite genre, because I love the whole imaginary lands and stories and all those wonderful things. And I used to just write for hours about making up my own crazy stories. And I even do that now. But instead of writing it down, I talk it out. So they're in my head, and in my head I'm like this awesome, star in this like awesome show. I even have like multiple different stories mulling around in my head that I should really get out. But it is not necessarily a passion for me. There are people who love to write. I had a best friend in high school who she just loved to write. She wrote things all the time. She could fill up journals and journals of just stories. And she made it her purpose, and it was her passion to be a writer. And that's kind of what she's doing now. And the same thing goes for you. You could love writing and telling stories. You could create your own world on a piece of paper. I say look into that. Test out some things. Write your whole novel, a book. It doesn't have to be extremely long. There's books that are about 150 pages, and that's it, and that's like the entire story. Books don't have to be grand, 1,000, J.R. Tolkien size books. They don't need to be that big. They could be simple short stories that you have. And, you know, if you're willing to get it out there, that could be something you could do for the rest of your life, and you could live out your passion. It's important that you embrace your mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes going down the road of trying to figure out what your passion is and what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And it's very, I don't want to say off-putting, but it's difficult sometimes when you look at, okay, what am I supposed to do for the rest of my life? I had that big fear of, well, I need to have my whole life planned. I'm 20 years old, I'll be 21 in September, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm 20. I probably have another 20 to 30 years, maybe 40 years left in my life. Here's hoping. And I don't need to plan it. Anytime I've ever tried to plan out my life, it has never gone the exact way I wanted it to. So don't try to plan every single step in your life, but have a good skeleton. You know, the organs and the skin will fall where they need to, but it is always good to have a solid structure. You know, your body without your skeleton would be a floppy mass on the floor. And having that good structure on the inside, that skeleton, your body is able to move and do wonderful things. So the same thing goes with a plan for your life. Don't try to plan out every single aspect of your life, because it's not going to go the exact way you want it to, and you may feel disappointed. Mistakes happen. You are only a person. You are not omniscient and omnipresent. You are only present in your own life, and you can only know as much as you are either told or shown. So it's okay to make mistakes. Accept them and keep moving forward. You know, when it comes to finding your passion, you can either take one of two routes. You can either take that passion and use it and go work for a company, a very large company. If it's writing, you could work for a magazine. You can get your own book published. You could get your book published at a high publishing agency. If you're an artist, you could go into, you know, the different fields that artwork is used. You can be a web designer, you could be a cartoonist, you could be a video game designer, you can work in movies, you can do a whole bunch of other stuff with that. The same thing goes with photography. You can become, you can work at a modeling agency and all these other things. But if it's your passion to do that, I say go ahead. There's also the other side where you could start your own business, and, you know, like I have done with becoming a coach and also becoming a full-fledged entrepreneur and doing the things that I want to do while also helping people. You could also go that route and create your own business. And, you know, either route is fine with you, whichever one you decide to take. But knowing that your passion is what fuels you and what moves you. The course you decide to take, the plans that you make, is the car. So the plans that you make is the car, and the passion you have is the fuel that drives you. My passion is to help people. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more awesome quotes and fun stuff. Let's see. Subscribe if you like if you like, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!